2022, grade 11, Fermat math contest, questions 11 through 20. Number 11. Dhruv is older than Bev, Bev is older than Elsom, Elsom is younger than Andy, Andy is younger than Bev, Bev is younger than Cow. Who is the third oldest? Okay, so let's work through this. D is greater than B. Okay, B is greater than E. E is younger than A, so we got to stick A in there. A is younger than B. And then B is younger than C. Okay, so this is basically the inequalities all sort of written out. Now we are told, or asked rather, who's the third oldest. So these two are the oldest. We don't know who's older, but those two are definitely the oldest. And these two are the youngest. So of the five, the middle guy, or middle girl, is Bev. So that's it. B is the answer. Suppose that D is an odd integer and E is an even integer. How many of the following expressions are equal to an odd integer? Okay, so what I like to do is I just sort of use a number. So I'm going to let D equal 5 and E equal 4. And then let's go through these. So this will be 10, this will be 40, this will be 25, and this will be 45. So they're saying, how many are odd? Well, this one's odd and this one's odd. So two of those are odd, therefore C is the answer. 7 identical rectangles are used to create two larger rectangles as shown, figure A, figure B. The ratio of the perimeter of A to B is, okay? So let's label this. I'm going to label this side Y and this side X. So all of these will be X. This is X. And this is Y. And this looks like Y and X. Same thing, they're identical. So this is also X, this is X, this is also Y, 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 X, X, and Y. Okay, so let's see the perimeter on figure A, if you add it all up, is 4X plus 3Y. And the figure B, if you add them all up, is 4X plus 4Y, I believe. Okay, now we have to figure out a ratio, but here's the thing. This side is equal to that side, right? So that means 2x is equal to y. So that's going to be very helpful in order to make a comparison. So let's substitute y is equal to 2x. So this becomes 4x plus 3 times 2, so 6x, which is 10x. Okay, that's good. Let's do the same type of substitution there. So 4x plus 8y. Sorry, 8x. 8x. That's what I meant to say. And that's 12x. Okay, great. Now we can make a comparison. The ratio of perimeter of A to B. So A is 10x. B is 12x. The x's cancel, and you get 10 over 12, which is 5 over 6 in lowest terms. That would be choice E for number 13. Zebediah has 3 red shirts, 3 blue shirts, 3 green shirts. Without looking, he randomly pulls shirts from his drawer one at a time. He would like a set of shirts that includes either 3 of the same color or 3 of different colors. What is the minimum number of shirts that Zebediah has to pull out to guarantee that he has such a set? All right. So we've got R, blue, 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 and green, green, green. So this is one of those questions where we got to figure out what's the minimum. What does it go up to? 7? So let's see. Let's try 7. Okay, so we have to have one of those two sets. And a set is either 3 of the same color or 3 of different colors. So for example, 3 of the same color would be something like red, 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 right? 3 different colors would be RBG. There's only 3 colors, so that's the only way of getting 3 colors. Okay, let's see what we can do. Remember, we want to guarantee, so that means that there's no other way other than getting one of these two. So let's see what happens. Let's say the first one is R. Let's say the second one is R. The third one, we can make it an R, But we can also make it a B or a G. Let's make it a B. The next one, we could make it a G, and therefore we'd have one of those. But I don't want to do that. I'm going to make it a B. I'm going to try to not do it. Because eventually you're going to get to this step, which means that at this step, it's guaranteed that you're going to get either this guy or this guy. How? Watch. If I put an R there, it'll be R, 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 right? This guy, and this guy. If I choose to put a B, it'll be B, B, B. If I put a G, it'll be an RBG type situation. So no matter what goes into this spot, I guarantee that I'm going to get either this guy or this guy. So that's basically the thinking or the method behind this question. So that spot is the fifth spot, and therefore the fifth shirt. So 5 is the answer to this question. D is the answer choice. A positive integer, A, is input into a machine. If A is odd, the output is A plus 3. If A is even, output is A plus 5. This process can be repeated using each successive output as the next input. For example, if A is 1, the machine is used 3 times, the final output is 12. If A is 15, the machine is used 51 times, what is the final output? Okay, so if A is odd, we get A plus 3. If A is even, we get A plus 5. So they're starting with A equal to 15. And then this is how many times. And we want the output. Okay, so let's see what we get here. I'm not going to do it 51 times. Let's see if we can get some sort of a pattern. And then we can extrapolate that pattern. Okay, after one time, 15 is, what is it, odd, right? So we're going to get this A plus 3, so we're going to get 18. And then 18 goes into the input. See what I mean? And then we do this process again. 18 is even, so you're going to get A plus 5 situation. So that after 2 times, A plus 5 would be 23. And then 23 goes into the input, and 23 is odd, so you're going to get A plus 3, which is 26. And then 26 goes into the input, and 26 is even, so you're going to get A plus 5 situation, which is 31. And so on, right? So 5 will be 34, 6 will be 39, and so on, dot, dot, dot. It just kind of keeps on going like that. So it looks to me that the output is 15 for this particular case, plus, I think it looks like it goes up by 8. Yeah, every 2 times. Yeah, that's 8, and that's 8. So a multiple of 8, and the number of times divided by 2. I think that is the formula. And you can verify this. So for example, when t was 6, it'll be 6 divided by 2, which is 3. 3 times 4, 24. 24 plus 15 is indeed 39. Okay, that's how you can verify. So they want you to do it 51 times. Okay. Well, 51 is odd, so let's see what happens after 50 times when t is 50. When you crunch out this number, you get, 25 times 8, which is 215. But we want 51 times, so the 51st time, 215 is what? Odd? So it'll be this guy. So it'll be 8 plus 3, so that'll be 218. So on the 51st time, it'll be 218, and therefore the answer is B. The remainder when 111 is divided by 10 is 1. The remainder when 111 is divided by the positive integer n is 6. The number of possible values of n is. Okay. All right, so I guess we're looking at 111 mod n is equal to 6. Basically, what that just means is that when 111 is divided by n, the remainder is 6. It's just a way of writing it. Okay, well, let's see here. So if the remainder is 6, then that means that n was able to divide into 105, and that's why you got a remainder of 6. Okay, so whatever n is, it can divide into 105 So what is 105? 105 is 3 times 5 times 7. So n is some divisor of 105. So it's either 1, 3, 5, 7, 15, 21, 35, or 105. Yeah, and that's the only way you're going to get a remainder of 6. Okay, let's try all of these. Let's see what happens. 1, 1, 1, mod 1. Well, that's ridiculous. That's useless for us. That's gives us a remainder of 111, I think. So that does not help us. So that one's gone. Let's try 1, 1, 1 mod 3. When you divide it, the remainder is actually 0 here because 111 divides 3 evenly. Okay. Well, that didn't help. Let's try 1, 1, 1 mod 5. When 111 is divided by 5, the remainder is 1. Okay, that's not 6. Because remember, we want 6 here. Keep going. 111 mod 7. When 111 is divided by 7, the remainder is 6. Great. So we got this one here. This is a good one. Okay, 111 mod 15. Let's see here. That one is 6, I believe. Yeah, so that's good. Because that's 105. Keep going. 111 mod 21. That's also mod 6. That's good. 111 mod 35. That is also 6. So that's a good one. And 111 mod 105 is also 6. So there we go. So with a little bit of work, we got 5 of them. And therefore the answer is A. Number 17. An aluminum can in the shape of a cylinder is closed at both ends. Its surface area is 300 centimeters squared. If the radius of the can were doubled, its surface area would be 900 centimeters squared. If instead the height of the can were doubled, what would be its surface area? All right. Well, we've got a cylinder, right? And they are giving us the radius and the height. Okay, so radius and height. So I'm going to write down a few formulas. They've actually been very nice and given us the formula. That's nice of them. And that is the surface area, right? So surface area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Okay, great. And they're saying that's 300 for the initial scenario. Okay, and let's see here. That is when you have r and h. And then they're saying that the next scenario is where you are doubling the radius. So instead of r, we have 2r now. So wherever you see r, I'm going to put in 2r. So 2 pi 2r squared plus 2 pi 2r times h. And let's simplify this. This is what, 8 pi r squared plus 4 pi r h. Yeah, and they're saying that is equal to 900. Okay. All right, so what are they asking then? If the height is doubled, what would be the surface area? Okay, I got it. All right, I guess we have to manipulate these equations. So I'm going to try to manipulate this guy first. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. And that's going to give me 4 pi r squared plus 4 pi r h is equal to 600. And the reason I did that is because now I've got at least something that is common to both. So I could isolate this 4 pi r h. And on this side it'll be 600 minus 4 pi r squared. And on this side it will be 4 pi r h is 900 minus 8 pi r squared. Okay. So that's pretty decent. That's a pretty good amount of progress. So now we can set these equal to each other. This is equal to that. So 600 minus 4 pi r squared is equal to 900 minus 8 pi r squared. Okay. And does that help in any way? I think we can, let's say, bring everything over, and this can be 4 pi r squared, and this will be 300, I believe, if I did that correctly. So that means that pi r squared is 75. Is that right? I think so. I think so. Okay, good. All right. So I guess we can substitute that back into this guy. And when I do, I have 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Okay. Let's see here. Am I substituting the right one here? Yeah, I think that should be fine, hopefully. Okay, so 2 pi r squared, well, pi r squared is 75. And then we got this 2 pi r h. And remember, this whole thing was equal to 300, right? So let's use that fact. So that means 2 pi r h would be 300 minus 150, which is 150. So pi r h is 75. Okay, and I guess now we're in the final step, which is what they're asking, what happens if the height was doubled? So I guess we take this and just put 2h instead of h. Okay, so let's do that. So we've got, instead of h, 2h. So 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r, now 2h. Okay, so this is what we have to figure out. 2 pi r squared plus 4 pi r h. Now let's see if we have pi r squared. We have up here 75, this guy right here, and then pi r h is right here, that's 75. So let's see, we have 6 times 75, which I believe is what? 150 plus 300, 450. Okay, 450 is the answer, and therefore number 17, that would be 8. Aria and Bianca walk at different but constant speeds. They each begin at 8 a.m. from the opposite ends of a road and walk directly toward the other starting point. They pass each other at 8:42 a.m. Aria arrives at Bianca's starting point at 9:10. Bianca arrives at Aria's starting point at. Okay, so let's make a little diagram. Aria starting here, Bianca starting here, and I guess they're walking towards each other, and eventually they meet right here at 8:42 a.m. Okay, great. Now there's a lot of variables here that I don't know. This is 8 a.m. and this is, what is it, 9:10, but those times are only true for our area. We have to figure out the scenario for Bianca, and I guess Bianca, she starts at 8 a.m. but then eventually she's going to end up here where area started, and we don't know the time. That's what we have to figure out. Okay, so let's do some labeling here. First, we have the standard formula, speed is equal to distance over time, or any variation. Now I'm going to call the total distance d, and anything else, I guess we know it's 8:42, so the time is 42 minutes from there to there for A, and 28 minutes from there to there. Similarly, the time for Bianca is 42 minutes from there to there, but from here we don't know. That part we don't know. And then I'm going to label the distance from A to this point at 8:42 A, and then therefore this will be D minus A. And very similarly, those distances will be the same. Okay, so that's about as far as I can go with labeling. Okay, let's use this formula. The speed is distance over time, so it'll be A over 42 minutes for this segment right here. And that speed is constant for A, so the full distance, which is D, over 70, which is the full amount of time all the way down to there, right? 42 plus 28. That's also going to be the same because the speed is constant. They tell you that in the question. And this is just for A. So I guess I'll put speed of A, which is A representing area. So, or area, however you pronounce it. So let's use this formula. So that means 70A is 42D. And then if you divide, I think, by 14, you will get 5A is equal to 3D. Or I guess you can go one step further if you want and say that D is equal to 5A over 3. Okay, that should help. Okay, that's a pretty decent start, I think. Now we have to get into the comparisons of the speed for B. Very similar to what we did over here. Now, for this segment here, which is going from there to there, that is A over X. And for this segment here, that is D minus A over 42. Okay, then let's use that. So cross multiply, 42A will be X times D minus A. And then we're going to use that. That's going to help us, hopefully. So that means X is equal to 42A over D minus A. 42A, D is 5A over 3 minus A. And therefore, X is going to be 42A over, get a common denominator, so that's going to be 2A over 3. And then I think the A's will cancel. So, and then when you invert and multiply, this is going to be 21 times 3, which is 63. Okay, great. That's pretty good progress. So X is equal to 63. And therefore, the total amount of time that it takes Bianca to go from, I guess, one point to another point is 42 minutes plus 63 minutes. So 42 plus 63 is 105 minutes. So 105 minutes plus added to 8 a.m., her starting point, is what? 1 hour and 45 minutes, so 9:45. 9:45 is the answer, so that would be choice D. Number 19. In the diagram, triangle PQR is a right-angled triangle at R. PR is 12, QR is 16, M is the midpoint of PQ, N is the point on QR, so that MN is perpendicular to PQ. The area of PNR is. All right. Oh, boy. Okay, so let's see if we can label this. Okay, but basically I'm just going to label it based on everything they told me in the question. So, what was the... Let's see here. Let me write it down here before I forget. PR was 12. QR is 16. It's a right angle. M is the midpoint. Okay. And that's about it. All right. So they didn't give me much. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. So PR is 12. Okay, great. QR. Oh, that whole distance is 16. Okay, so I can immediately figure out PQ using Pythagoras. So it's going to be 12 squared plus 16 squared. So when I solve for this, PQ will be 20. So since M is the midpoint, this will be 10 and this will be 10. Okay, and I think that's about as far as I can go. I'm going to have to label some angles here. All right, so this is a right angle, so this is also a right angle. Let's just call this theta for now. That means this will be 90 minus theta. Let's see. Anything else? I hate to have to introduce more variables here, but this will be alpha. Therefore, this will be 90 minus alpha. And then, well, this angle in here, that's going to be 180 minus these two guys, so it'll be 90 minus alpha plus theta. And then this guy, this angle in here, will be 90 minus this guy, so it'll be alpha minus theta. All right. So do we see any similar triangles in this triangle? Any similar triangles? I think triangle PRQ. Yeah, PRQ, the big one, is similar because this angle in here is going to be 90 minus theta. Yeah. 90 minus theta. So PRQ will be similar to triangle QMN. Yeah. Because those have the same angles. 90 theta, 90 minus theta. Okay, great. All right, we can proceed there. So that means MQ over NQ, MQ over NQ, will be the same as RQ over PQ. So MQ we know is 10, NQ I believe we don't know. RQ is 16, and PQ we figured out was 20. Okay, so that's great. We can solve for NQ, and we do, it's 12.5. So if NQ is 12.5, put that in there. That means Rn would be 16 minus 12.5, which is 3.5. And what do they want in this question? They want the area of PNR. So the area of triangle PNR. Okay, so PNR. Okay. So 1/2 base times height. The base is 3.5. The height is 12. So it looks like 6 times 3.5, 3.3 times 7, which is 21. All right. 21 is the answer, and therefore that would be A. A sequence of numbers T1, T2, T3, and so on has terms defined by Tn is equal to 1 over n minus 1 over n plus 2 for every integer n greater than or equal to 1. For example, T4 is 1 over 4 minus 1 over 6. What is the largest positive integer k for which the sum of the first k terms is less than 1.499? All right, so I guess this formula will be very important. So let's just first figure out a few of these. T1 would be 1 minus a third, which is 2 over 3. T2 would be 1/2 minus a quarter, which is 1 over 4. T3 would be 1 over 3 minus 1 over 5, which is 2 over 15. T4 would be 1 over 4 minus 1 over 6, which is 1 over 12. T5 would be 1 over 5 minus 1 over 7, which is 2 over 35, and so on, right? You guys get the point. T6 would be 1 over 6 minus 1 over 8, and so on. So, does see any pattern there? Not really. Or at least I can't see one. Okay, well, let's just go to this sum of the first k terms. Let's see if that gives us any kind of help. So the sum of the first k terms. Okay. So it'll be 1 over 1 minus 1 over 3, which is T1, plus T2, which is 1 over 1/2 minus 1 over 1/4. I'm keeping this in this form because I think certain things will cancel, and that's the hope here. T3 is 1 over 3 minus 1 over 5. T4 is 1 over 4 minus 1 over 6. T5 is 1 over 5 minus 1 over 7. And so on. I'm going to write a few more just so that it becomes obvious that things do cancel. The pattern so far is pretty straightforward. 1 over 8 minus 1 over 10. And then it just keeps on going, right? Dot, 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 all the way to tk. And yeah, all the way to tk. So let me just put in the last two. The last two would be these guys. So that would be tk minus 1 and tk. So tk minus 1 would be 1 over tk k minus 1 minus 1 over k minus 1 plus 2. So it would be tk plus 1. And then the very last one, let's see if I can move this over here, would be tk, which is just 1 over, oh sorry, it wouldn't be t's. It would be actually, it would be just the k. Yeah, I gotta be careful there. So this would be just 1 over k minus 1 over k plus 2. Yeah. Okay, I think that's good. That's good. Okay. So now finally we can illustrate how things cancel. Now let's see if I can show. This minus 1/3 will cancel with this positive 1/3. This minus 1/4 will cancel with that. This minus 1/5 will cancel with that. Minus 1/6 will cancel with this. You guys see a pattern here. Minus 1/7 will cancel with that. Minus 1 over 8 will cancel with that, and so on. So eventually, when this is all canceled out, the only terms that will be remaining are the 1 at the very beginning, then the half that's in this guy, then everything will cancel, and the only things that will be left are, well, let me circle what's going to be canceled first. This is going to cancel, this is going to cancel. So the only thing left at the end is this minus 1 over k plus 1, and that final minus 1 over k plus 2. Okay, so that's sort of the great simplification of this question. And then they're saying this, they want it to be less than 1.499. All right, and at that point, it should be relatively straightforward to figure out what k is, or at least what do they want, the largest integer, right? Yeah, but yeah, because it's a positive integer. Okay. Well, here we go. So this is our formula. We're probably going to have some sort of a quadratic, I think. Well, let's just work with it. First, what can I do here? I'm going to put everything on this side, bring the 1.49. So this is 1.5, and if I bring the 1.499 over, it'll be 0.001, and if I bring these guys to the other side, it's k plus 1 positive and k plus 2 positive. Okay. All right, well, this, I'm going to put this as a fraction since this other side is a fraction. And then we got to add these fractions, get a common denominator, which will be just a product in that case. All right, so that's pretty decent, I think. And let's work with this now, cross multiply, so k plus 1, k plus 2, less than 1,000, and then that's going to be what, 2k plus 3. Yeah, it is going to be a quadratic because you got to have to expand this. So this will be k squared plus 3k plus 2 is less than 2,000k plus 3,000. Okay, so we got k squared minus 1997k minus 2998 is less than 0. Okay, great. So as expected, it is a quadratic. And this is a Canadian exam, so you're allowed to use calculators, so that's good. So this will be a quadratic formula, plus or minus, 3988009 plus 11992. You guys know the quadratic formula. All over 2a. And then this is 1997 plus or minus 4000000, so that's nice. All over 2. And that gives me, it's got to be a positive, right? So the positive value is 1998.5001. So the largest value of k, well, this is if it's equal, but remember, we had a less than sign here. So really what you had to do was use a less than sign. So k has to be less than, right? According to the question. So I guess we have to do that. So that means k has to be less than. So if it's less than, the largest value it can be is 998. So if you were to plot it, if you got two what's it called, roots, then this one is the 998.5, and this one is the -1, whatever it was. And we want this whole thing to be less than, so we want this part of the curve. And they want the largest integer value, and the largest integer value is probably going to be right here, which will be 998. And that's it. So the answer for number 20 is 1998, and therefore that would be E.